Everybody okay with that? If you ask. All right, so we'll call the meeting to order at 9:13. Tammy, would you be willing to type some notes?
Yeah, I'll just use the bones of the agenda and I'll just type in there.
That's fine. It organizes it nicely that way. Plus we have the
Sounds good.
recording. So cool. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Okay.
No.
Seeing none. Any members of the public comment? Public in Zoom world? The waiting room is turned off, or it was turned off. I should double check that because I want to make sure there is not people sitting in a waiting room. Yep, nobody in the waiting room. And it's disabled, so that's good. So we are public. Review and approve the minutes. So Tammy did a nice job of typing up those minutes. They're linked in the current agenda. Any comments of the minutes? On the minutes? Okay. Let's have if we could have a motion to approve those minutes as posted.
A motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Chad makes a motion. Thank you, Chad. Any second? Eric, was that your? All
Yeah, I'll
right.
second it, but I don't know if I can, but
There you can. But I think Tammy beat you to it. So we'll go on record with Tammy as the second. Any discussion, you guys? Seeing none. All those in favor of approving Chad's motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That sounds like two. Tammy, did you vote?
Aye.
All right, 3 ayes. That's unanimous. So that motion carries. Anybody have any correspondence or things in writing they want to bring to us?
No, it's fine.
Nothing? Okay. Next item on the agenda is 7, and that is 6, and that is the check-in on our homework. So you guys did a great job responding to that thread, and I thought maybe it would be a cool opportunity to give you the floor and you can give us a little tour of the sites that you linked, if that's cool. Does everybody have access to that? I think Mark put them all on a document. Let's see, the examples, I think it was called. And list of websites, let's see, this proposal.
That was the original document with
Here it is. All right, I'm going to put a link in the chat to the document. So if you want to click on it, you
oh,
can.
you're right, it was, okay.
And this is the document that Mark put together. Yeah, so take a minute and have a look at that. Here it comes.
So, so sorry for being late. I'm technologically challenged this morning.
Well, you're not the only one, Mark. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think Consolidated is taking out some vengeance on me.
Have you been a tough customer lately, Mark?
No, I haven't. Maybe that's the problem.
Not tough enough.
My internet seems to go out once or twice a week now.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have Consolidated when we lived in Guilford. And they said our lines were from the 60s, from the road to our house. And they needed to be replaced because the insulation had cracked. And every time it would rain, water would get into the line and sort of short out the DSL circuit.
God.
So anyway, that was glad they changed that. Is everybody able to open the document link that Mark sent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mark, we're just going over we're on item 6 where we're reviewing the websites that people suggested, and I've got the document that you created. Shall I share that document while we talk through it, or does everybody have it available?
My vote would be if everybody has it, let's leave the screen. So we
Okay,
can see
that's
it.
fine. So Derek, do you want to start, since you're the first one on that document, with the kingdomeast.org?
Yeah. I just have to look at it again. I haven't had time. Yeah, I just took that out of Mark's list. I thought it was pretty clean and has pretty much the function, whatever functionality that we would need. But I really like the clean look of it and the organization of everything, the way the content is. And
I like
it looks pretty good in mobile view too. I mean, besides just changing the color scheme, I think it's pretty much what you would want.
Yeah, that is nice. I particularly like the tiles, how it's got like that look of tiles. That's kind of cool.
I like
Anybody
that
else?
too.
Cool. Thanks, Derek. Derek, did you have any others that you wanted to?
There was one more that I saw on it was one of the links that Edgeworks sent, but I'll have to look for it again.
Okay, cool. Chad, you got a handful here.
Yeah, going through that list, just, took some quick notes. The Camp Current one, obviously, for more of a summer camp element, really kind of tied everything together. It was, my notes are pretty obvious, playful, fun. We want something that's going to be engaging. I think if it's, too, droll, people aren't going to, stay on the website and explore it. We're looking at this as much as an informational piece as we are, an attraction piece. So I think it would be great to have some things that people want to come back to, from our students and parent caregiver families to the general public as, at large, to kind of clue in what's going on with our elementary kids in the neighborhood. So, I really enjoyed that. And again, simplistic and relevant. It was very straightforward. It was, easy to navigate, which was sensible, as you wanted to go through it. The Worcester schools, I did not get that same feel from theirs. Very textually oriented, and it didn't have a good flow to it. So it was not something I want to really stay on and explore an awful lot. I put more time into it, because it was part of our homework. But it's not something that I felt overly compelled to go and visit with. Brattleboro Union, I think that was.
Chad, before you go on, can I ask you
Yeah.
a question about the Worcester schools?
Yeah.
Was it all the menu text at the top that kind of threw you off? Because that's actually new. That wasn't there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, well, again, I don't know. Yes, your answer, not knowing how it was set up before, but yeah, those sections that were in yellow and blue just seemed like a bombardment of like, where do I want to go, and what am I really looking for?
So if you took those two bars out and those pure text type stuff, how about the rest of the site?
And I'm just doing that now to kind of take a look. What's interesting is that, as you start to scroll down, looking at it right now, just to kind of pull those out, you end up losing the main header, the Worcester Public Schools with the academic, and the things that I think would be relevant. If you scroll down too far, it disappears. And then you just have the picture of this lovely student. Yeah, that was kind of a weird makeup.
So Chad, can I interrupt you for a second?
Please.
Because I felt the same way, like those two bars at the top were a lot. And then I was surprised to see the banner go away. But as you scroll down, you see how it changes the banner, and the white banner then becomes part of the top, as if it replaces the blue and the yellow.
Oh,
You see that?
yeah. I'm glad you pointed that out. That's
Yeah, I didn't notice that at first.
I'm
weird.
not seeing that.
Yeah,
I
so when
I think like the font is so off on this site. You start scrolling down and like you have to squint to try to read any of this.
it's tiny, there's a lot of tiny text, yeah. But if you're all the way to the top and you scroll down one notch, it just takes away the yellow and the green bar, which, like Mark, I found that incredibly
Are
sensory
you,
overload.
you're saying, yeah, that blue and yellow bar at the top. Yeah, I didn't like that either. That was looks like a mess, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know why they added that. All right, I was curious whether, because I actually, what I liked about that site, not the overall look, right below the from anywhere photo, I like having kind of not necessarily these statistics, but kind of an overview of the district. You know, number of schools, number of students. I don't know exactly what, but I tend to like sites that maybe not as many, but will show, you know, 4 relevant data points to just give you a snapshot of the school or the district really quickly, and then move on to other aspects of it.
Yeah, typically I think that area is saved for like a call to action, kind of like, I don't know what you call it, like a basically a link. Like you want your most relevant like information right there. You click on it, you can go to the page.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of call to actions we'd have it as a school district, though.
Can I make an interesting observation? I jumped on the MRW website, which is the web developer for the Worcester Public Schools. And they also built the Hartford Camp Current website that we just looked at.
That is correct.
Isn't that
They
interesting?
would. The MRW is the company that, one of the companies that I thought was a top-notch developer. They weren't a good fit for us. I
Yeah.
like, not Hartford is their site that I like the most.
Yeah.
Um,
So that would explain why I think we like elements of both of these sites, maybe not all of them, but you know, same developer.
Plus, if you shrink that down into like a mobile view,
Yeah.
that yellow and blue thing at the top just takes over the page.
Oh, it does. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a good one.
They have the sticky navigation, which I like. Like if you scroll down a mobile view, they'll stick to
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah. Very good. Anything else on the Worcester site? Anybody wants to add? Okay. Well, let's go on to Chad. Go ahead. Continue on.
Okay, so the next one was the VUUSD. We had kind of it's the jump address was kind of a little bit weird because it went right to the meetings and agendas. Just on that very unified union. But you know, I think they did a really nice job of incorporating, you know, the schools and the meetings. Back to my notes. And you know, the uniformity I think is really important. You know, so it's very sensible. I think again, if you are just to kind of take, you know, if you're a Berry City Elementary school parent, and you're going to be able to find things very easily because you know, you get used to one website. You want to look at the board stuff. It's not like trying to reinvent the wheel, I think, as far as their, you know, communication curriculum and so on. So I think they did a really nice job melding the administrative and the academic sides of their schooling system. You know, the archive board minutes, I think that's a great addition too. I think that means you know, a fair amount of legwork on our end. We can talk about the value of that. You know, I think we probably all agree it's pretty high value, especially, you know, when we have things to reference in the past. But you know, there's also the question of, you know, does that really work? You know, for us going forward, you know, now as a unified school district, you know, versus what had been Warresboro School and the Dover School. You know, definitely a question for folks that have had a lot more time on the board than myself. But I think, you know, definitely worth discussing. You know, the one drawback I'd say is, you know, they have their school colors, if you will, and in that regard, it's kind of blah. It's not as jumpy, but it's very, very functional.
So if I can just say a couple things about the site. The link to the board section was on purpose, because it wasn't the whole site that I thought was good personally. But having looked at almost every district's website in this state, looking for minutes or agendas for my other job, looking for things. This was one of the few that I found easy to navigate and complete. And Chad, just in regards to the archiving, this is River Valleys, so we don't need to put any Dover information or any Wardsboro information, those school districts, I should say, up there. But that data will remain being available on the Wyndham Central board.
Brilliant.
So we don't have to worry about that. This is just this is just for River Valleys going forward.
Okay.
Anyway, it was just kind of the simple navigation, the fact that it was all there and easy to find. I just wanted to. I've had a hard time kind of coming up with words to describe what I'd like to see as our document management. And at least from a front end perspective, I thought this was about as close as I've seen for something that I would actually really like. Colors are awful. I'm a big fan of boxes, but the general concept,
Sure.
I thought was good.
Yeah, I'd agree with you 100% for that purpose.
Quick question for
what you brought up about the public being able to, the consistency and for the public, I think is really important.
quick question for you guys. One thing that stuck out about this one with me is that what came up was the idea, the possibility of having the school sites be a little more fun, colorful, interactive, but yet maybe have the board site be a little, this to me is much more business oriented. It's much more, stark colors. There's a lot of accessibility features in terms of the contrast. Would it make sense for the board site to be a little more business looking, for lack of a better description, and the school sites be a little more colorful, fun, active, rather than have all three of them be the same?
Well, I think you could definitely, there's going to be a lot less pizzazz, if that's an appropriate word, from our board meetings. Aside from, screenshots of various Zoom meetings for the last however long, the activity of the board is pretty paper oriented, I guess would be the way to say it. Yeah. So, there's not that activity, there's not that movement that we want to portray, per se, versus, elementary school kids. We want to show their activity, their movement, their growth. I think the uniformity is more in the structure of the layout, I would say, but, rather, in replacing, like as Mark said, the document management will replace maybe that header video that we have for each school that we've discussed a little bit. So I think you're spot on that, there's no doubt it's going to be a little bit more dry and direct versus playful and engaging. But we want it to be as easily navigable as the individual school sites.
Cool. Tammy or Derek, anything else to add?
Yeah, no, I think that all sounds great. I do like Mark said, how this is really easy to navigate. Like he said, he intentionally, put this link on so that it was directing to the board. But then once you get there, it's easy to navigate through the schools. So it is set up nicely.
Yeah,
Mark,
I
it
agree.
really it helps us see the example that you have been trying to give us the vision for.
I agree. I think
Nice.
it's perfect for the board.
What's that, Derek? Go ahead.
I agree. I think it's perfect for the board.
Yeah, the board navigation was very pleasant. All right, Chad, you got another one there?
Yep, and then Reedsboro. Reedsboro. Again, I love the opening video. A lot of different kids, not the same classroom. Engage in a variety of activities that make their school come alive. at all grade levels, teachers engaging. I think that's really, a fantastic opener. And I thought, it was pretty easy to find your way around with all the relevant information, resources board, even link to the town, which I think is helpful too. Again, particularly as we talk about this as being a recruiting tool, so to speak, so the families from outside can really have a look and see what we're all about, to be able to link back, because the town is, very important element of, what our community is all about, as much as the kids and the teachers and the school itself. So I think this is a pretty, a nice foundation for what we could envision if we do decide to implement a homepage video.
And that was the whole point of my linking to that site, was that video. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I thought that really was, well, great marketing. And you should link back to town sites. I have a little concern linking to the Wardsboro site. It's not a town site, it's a private site. That's maintained by one individual, and she does a good job. I mean, I really like Anita, but it's not actually a town site. So I have a little concern about linking back to something that isn't an official website. I think that's just something we'll have to talk about and make a decision at some point.
Definitely, that's a really good point.
Great. All right. Thanks, guys.
So there was one other, and Mark, I really appreciate putting the list together to give us, some additional guidance. I started looking around, and one of the other sites that I looked at was the Albany Academies, which is where I was fortunate enough to go to school. And the reason I did is when I was in school, the boys' school and the girls' school were separate, and they've since have gone under larger integration. And I thought it was just worth having a look at to see, again, they don't have the school board aspect, but how you have two different school campuses that are joined in some ways, particularly with information overlay, that might have been worthwhile to look at. And that's albanyacademies.org. And just as a reference, there wasn't anything that jumped out at me that said, this would be great for us to have, but I just thought it was very neat to see the way that they've woven both together. They on their homepage, they look at a lot of students who have been, long-term, some lifers, that started, in kindergarten and now graduating and where they're matriculating to, and some history, which is kind of nice. Being that they're pre-K through 12, they obviously have a lot more in the activity sense than we are offering as far as extracurriculars, especially since we're only going up through grade 6. But it was one that I decided to, take a look at. And as you get down halfway down the page, you can really focus on either the Albany Academy or Albany Academy for Girls, and discuss their curriculum. Athletics was interesting because it kind of was throwing me off for a bit, because I was like, wait, and they kind of go like side by side as you get into the pages, and you look at, for some different information. So again, it's just another one that I happen to look at. And if you want to take a look, by all means. But again, I think Mark's list was pretty fantastic to help us get a real sense of what is going to be best for us at River Valleys.
I was just
Very
about
nice.
to add it. Glad you did.
I noticed they had the what they call the fast facts on their homepage, which is what I think, Mark, you were talking about with the little statistics.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about that it always draws me in. Because it's just, it's a really quick snapshot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe we just do, maybe that's just where we put IB and STEAM. But just, I don't know, there's something about having like 4 little circles or boxes with just a tiny amount of text that makes it just simple to kind of get an overall view of what they want you to know.
Yeah, it's a
And
nice.
so I guess, for Matt and Tammy, this is kind of one that we've seen on both schools that have offered this, is the student faculty ratio, which is, I think a really great thing to highlight, so long as you're not at 30 to 1. Do we have a rough estimate of where we stand with each elementary school with that?
We're
Yeah,
probably at like 1 to 9, I would say.
yeah, I think it depends on if you do student to teacher ratio versus student to adult ratio.
Right.
So one is your average class size, and then the other one is your adult to student ratio. So our class size average is about 11. So we're a little bit higher, but if you add in the other adults, the academic support teachers, special ed, that kind of stuff, it goes down.
Right. So, I mean, and even if, at that 11 to 1, 9 to 1, that's still a really fantastic ratio when you consider, all public classrooms across the country.
Right.
And again, as you said, Matt, it improves even more when we discuss the paraprofessionals and other specialists that are involved with our students on a daily basis.
Very good.
One thing about the Albany Academy site, which isn't so much about the site itself, but the navigation. I like that the navigation remains sticky. But what I would like to see us have is just kind of like just that main bar that says the Albany Academy is in and about admissions academics, and not that upper bar also, so that we've got minimal real estate going towards the sticky navigation, but that it is always there.
Yep, no, I agree with you.
Very good. Now, that's the end of Chad's. Is there anybody else that'd like to highlight any sites that they found that they liked?
So Hartford schools, no, sorry. And I was just pulling that up and then Cabernet threw up. So I was just cleaning that. So how to get back to it.
The life of a pet parent. Which was it Hartford or Harwood?
Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay.
So it's actually hartfordschools.org. A little slow loading on my.
Hartford schools.
And this one, it was more not the words of the navigation, but again, it was the way the navigation worked. It's not sticky. No, it is sticky. I'm sorry. So that you're getting when you scroll down, you're getting kind of the navigation for the district being sticky, which I think is important so that people have easy access to go back and forth between the sites. I'm having a hard time remembering what it was I really liked about this. At this point, it looks really busy.
Yeah.
It's way too busy.
Yeah, Mark, one of the things that I didn't like, but again, not an issue that we would have per se. As you look at our schools, they have a directory rather than a drop down. But they're also managing so many schools, comparatively. But, for us, I think in our schools drop down. The one thing I do like is as you scroll down, that main bar becomes a little bit smaller. So again, like you're saying, you don't want to take up all that real estate, but you don't have to scroll back to the top in order to make a change.
And it's also transparent, or at least somewhat transparent. So you're not losing, because people use small screens these days.
Right.
You're not losing as much real estate, at least from a visual perspective. But yeah, I remember really liking the site, and now I'm having a really hard time figuring out what it was I liked about it.
Their
So,
budget, maybe? Wouldn't it be great to have that budget for our schools?
yeah, maybe that's what it was. So I apologize. Memory
That's all
doesn't
right.
serve me well.
All right, any others, Mark, you want to add?
No, I'd really love to hear from you and Tammy whether there were any sites from your perspectives, not kind of from the usability teacher resource type perspective. Whether you found anything useful in any of the sites I had, or any sites that you guys navigate on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I found the ones that we liked to be all ones that I liked as well. So there wasn't anything else. I mean, there's some basic structures, like we want a clean board doc navigation on the board site. We want an engaging but not overstimulating template for the school sites. I think we saw a lot of good examples of that. I like the little tiles. I like what Derek said about having them be mobile friendly. And I love the video at Reedsboro. That was fantastic. And there's a couple others that had slideshows that I thought were kind of nice. They were animated slideshows, which would be good too. But I really liked that video.
I can get a hold of Reedsboro and find out if there's a person that produced that. I've done some work with their board over there, so I can ask them whether there's somebody just produced it or not.
That would be great.
I think as far as your question goes, as far as the usability for teachers and whatnot, I need a little bit more time to dig around for that. I was sort of just looking around as, navigating their, home pages and whatnot, and just looking at the setup. So I would like a little bit more time to play around with that aspect of it.
That's fine. I think we have. I don't have the calendar, or the actually she hasn't sent us the calendar yet, but I don't have the proposal in front of me. But the creative time frame was many weeks, so we have plenty of opportunity to weigh in once they start showing us some ideas that they have.
You know what I didn't notice? Did anybody notice if any of the sites had like teacher pages in the traditional way that we've talked about? I didn't see anybody that had those anymore, which is great.
Like what you have or had. I don't know if you still have them.
Yeah, that idea of there's like a whole page that a teacher keeps up with information, communication, home, and all that.
No, I didn't see that a whole lot.
No, and and even pages to highlight the teachers, and the staff too. Is that something that we want to consider? Here's Tammy Bates. She's the principal of Wardsboro Elementary School, and have a bio and things like that. Do we want that to be publicly forward as a group? Looking at the at the one board site, Mark, it had contact information for the board members, which I think is valuable, and certainly as public constituents, that I think that would be helpful on the board side. Do we want to consider that for the faculty and staff?
I think my vote would be not to have contact information, because they can get in contact with any of the staff through the main office.
Sure.
But to have maybe a photo and a just a very brief bio, maybe a page
Yep.
that a single directory page for the staff at each school. I think from a perspective of trying to sell the schools. Even if it doesn't list an awful lot of information, it's something that people would want to see. I might be wrong about that, but
I would agree with you.
Tammy, Derek, what do you guys think of that?
Yeah, no, I was thinking that would be great.
and they could be more extensive if you guys want them. I mean, there could be a couple paragraphs from each, about
Yeah,
each.
each teacher could just write something up about themselves and how long they've been teaching or how long they've been at the school, what they like, some of their interests. I think that's a really great way for parents and community members to connect.
Yeah, maybe we could set up a template of information that we want to try to collect on each teacher and give, or each staff member, and give them the task of writing up a little couple sentence or couple paragraph bio.
And I definitely would include all staff.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So we are at almost 9:50. And we have gotten through our first item of homework. We have about 10 minutes left. And do we want to go on to the board docs? Do we want to go on to other homework items? What's your pleasure?
I have to leave at 10.
I would like to stay within the hour time frame too, just because it's a short day here at school. There's lots going on.
Yeah, I also have to wrap it up around 10. So should we hit the rest of the homework items, or do you want to go on and have a conversation about the board docs?
Let's do the homework items.
Okay. All right, so the homework items came out. Let's see, I'm going to go try to pull them up. Does everybody have the homework items?
Let's see, I'm sure.
I pulled them up from the minutes.
From what, Mark?
The minutes that Tammy took.
Yes. Where are we? Meeting minutes. There we go.
It doesn't mean I remember where I got those minutes from, but probably an email, quite honestly.
Yes, they are here. Shall I put a link in the chat?
Yep, chat's on.
Chat link. So that's the minutes from our last meeting, which has the homework list toward the bottom. Page 2 or so. So I think some of these things have been done. So do we have a list of keywords for SEO?
Yes.
Yeah, I shared, let's see if I can find that document.
I've got it open, Mark.
Great.
You wanna
Do
put
you want to just
Okay, can you put the link in?
link in chat, or just talk us through them is fine too.
So basically what I did was I just kind of divided it into the two towns and the two programs, and tried to I did some searching through the IB site, from the Dover website and the Wardsboro website, and just kind of pulled out words. I am anything but an SEO guru expert. I hate SEO. So I was just kind of pulling out everything that I could think of that I thought might be useful. And that was kind of where I was coming from.
I think it's a great start. I say we can send that off to them as certainly as a starting point. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I was able to add some to it as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Chad. You added some great stuff.
Added a couple onto that too.
Great. Thank you, Derek.
Outstanding. Good teamwork.
What I say to them when we send it to them is, this is what we came up with, but if there are other thoughts or topics that they think would be useful, please, let us know and we can do some research and.
I
Great.
think the key to SEO is basically whatever we put on the homepage and whatever posts we put on the website, you have to integrate those words into that content.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
The titles, the page titles and I forget the name, but the main subject headings of pages are the first thing that Google pulls from. Which I hate because I end up writing really long titles then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I somehow have done a decent job of getting the coalition's website relatively high up, but I never spent a lot of time on it. There are people that really know how to do that, how to manipulate the search engines to do what they want them to.
Right.
Well, side note,
Okay.
heard a great blurb about a guy who was in this field that really wanted a job. So he manipulated the SEO to get the 5 companies' founders who he wanted to work for, that when they Googled themselves, it would link to his bio with a note saying, "You found me because I did this." And without even having an interview, he got a job.
Brilliant.
Nice. All right, so I think what we'll do as one of our action items at the end of this meeting is to get a list of things that are going back to Cynthia and Ed. And so we can send that list, the keywords, the SEO stuff, we can send them a list of websites, and then maybe whatever else we come up with. So if you're okay with that, I will take care of making that communication to Cynthia and Ed.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, the next thing is adding Edgeworks as a user for Google Analytics. Do we have any progress on that front?
No, I have not made it that far.
Okay, so Derek, is that something we can ask you to look into?
For Wordsboro and Dover, I could. I don't
Okay.
think we have access to river valleys, do we?
There is no river valleys, but they don't. It's still up there. The only thing that's still up there is from the merger board work. Hasn't been touched in 3 years now or something. So there is no river valleys. Anything. I can give you access to the DNS if you want it, but there's really not much else.
I don't even know if we have it with Dover and Wordsboro set up, do we? I've never looked at it.
We might, but it's in the old domains. So I don't know how that is going to communicate with, where are they going to build a new site? Is it going to be, how's the traffic going to flow? I don't know the answers to those questions yet.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I mean, typically what they're going to do is just put like a snippet of code on the site there. So, I mean, do they need the old analytics? I mean, nobody's ever looked at it.
Yeah, they wanted the data. It was the data that they wanted. I think with the account that you created for them, Derek, they'll probably create a analytics, code from that would be my guess. But
so that actually brings me to another question: is RVUSD is it .net, Mark?
Yes.
Is RVUSD.net been established as a Google Apps for Education domain?
It has not.
And does it need to be in order to enable analytics?
No,
It doesn't. Okay,
it does not.
great.
Actually, I may have some analytics on it, but they would be completely useless.
Okay.
I think I turned analytics on when Anita was still working on, doing the communications for the board. But it would be more than useless at this point.
So what do we need to do in terms of making Edgeworks a user for Google Analytics if the site is not being built in Google?
Oh, all you have to do is just go into Google Analytics itself and just add them as a guest account so they can go in and see the analytics. It's basically you just go to the analytics. What is it? Oh, I just had it. Whatever Google Analytics page.
Analytics.google.com.
Yeah, you just go there and you can go into analytics if it's set up already. But that's what I'm trying to figure out now. If Dover ever set it up.
Matt, did you ever set it up?
I feel like I did for the doverschool.net site that we had.
Yeah, that's
But
what
when I
it
try
is.
to log in through Wyndham Central, it says you do not have access to Google Analytics.
So you might
I
have
would
set
do
up
it.
a different account.
I've logged into Dover right now. I'm gonna go check.
Matt, you still have access to your Dover
I don't
school
have access to it.
because the domain is, you're still using that domain for the site.
Right, and it's still forwarding our email.
Panther, but more
Matt, I have to go into the admin console and try to give us access.
Okay,
and that's actually an updated version.
Because I tried getting in with my doverschool.net account and it says I still don't have access to it.
okay. I guess maybe we need a little more clarity from Edgeworks about what specifically they need.
I think as long as the account that you created, I don't know if they plan on using the no reply or not, but as long as whatever account we give them has permissions for analytics, they should
Okay.
be set.
So did we decide what we were going to give them, Derek, for an account?
Put it together.
Yes, I set an account up. I have that. I have an account for them.
Okay, what email did you give them?
That was no reply -RVUSD at wyndhamcentral.org.
Okay, perfect.
Now, wait, that's actually not going to work because that's under WCSU. Well, yeah, I can give it access.
And give that account access to analytics and then they can apply it to the site.
It's just tricky because we have that whole Google admin thing. I don't know if we're going to shut that off at some point. I don't know if that's going to screw with what we're trying to, or mess with what we're trying to do.
How are you going to manage the Google Apps domains?
Through the admin.
Fierce by any means.
Are you
Okay.
talking about doverschool.net, Derek, or are you talking about Wyndham Central?
Doverschool.net.
Yeah, so the Google Apps is all managed through Wyndham Central now, Mark. So we don't need those services in doverschool.net anymore.
Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying, Derek. Okay. So you just, we're not going to lose those domains though. I want to make sure that we're going to be able to forward those domains to.
No,
Okay.
we won't lose the domain names.
Yeah, we'll keep those for sure.
I
Okay,
would-
so
I would think those emails for both those schools have been out there for a very long time. That probably don't want to lose those, either continue them as forwarding or be able to move them as aliases to the Wyndham Central, but that's just me. I have about 100 aliases in my email account, so.
yeah, I think they're all set up as forwarding for now and with no intention of changing or getting rid of it. Okay,
No,
yeah.
I think they're eventually going to shut all that off, is what I was told.
Yeah, but I think we still have control over that stuff, don't we, Derek?
Well, that's what I'm wondering is because I don't know if we're paying for that. Well, we can talk about that after.
Yeah,
You shouldn't
Hopefully
have to
they
pay
won't.
for, you shouldn't have to pay for any apps domains.
no, just the domain name.
Oh,
Well, no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about, that's right. We got like 5 different things we're all talking about here.
Yeah.
like the Google admin console itself, the G Suite thing. I don't know if we're paying for that as a district or not for doverschool.net under the old domain name, not Wyndham Central now, if that makes sense.
yeah, you shouldn't be paying for it. They should all be free.
Free. Yeah, they're all free.
Okay.
Free.
And I have no idea what they're talking about shutting down. Because I thought that's what they said they were gonna shut down.
Yeah, it hasn't been very, very clear, so I don't think it's a risk. There are a lot of other things on their plate right now, so. Okay, so we're out of time. People have to go. Do you want to set up another time? Do you want to set a next meeting?
I think, let's see. Yeah, I guess there's still some stuff that we need to go over, especially the docs.
Yeah, that's gonna take a little bit.
I actually have to take off. I'll just, whatever you guys agree on.
Okay, thanks, Derek.
See you later,
Bye,
Derek.
guys.
Hi, Derek. Thank you.
Hi, Derek.
What do you guys think about setting a standing meeting for the first Thursday of the month at 9 a.m.?
That's better for me.
Chad, Mark?
That should work for me.
Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that time, but just definitely a standing meeting would be helpful for me.
Yeah, I mean, Thursdays tend to work early in the morning for me. I know the afternoon's a little bit hectic. I'm usually down in New York.
Yeah.
But, you know, the beauty of this technology is that I can also, as Mark is, you know, chime in on the phone or Zoom on the move. So got a little bit of flexibility there for sure.
Yeah.
Did you say the third Thursday?
Well, I just tossed out randomly the first Thursday.
First Thursday, okay.
However, I'm open. Like, for example, I know I'm going to be out of town on the first Thursday in April. So I'm sure this can go on without me, but I wouldn't be able to attend that. We could do the last Thursday of the month if that would be better.
But what's the next update that Edwards is expecting from us?
So they're expecting us to respond to this homework information ASAP.
Okay.
And then they'll be going to work for, like Mark said, I think it's about 6 weeks of time is their first marker.
Okay. Do we want to push up the next one so we can get through the homework and have it ready for them?
Sure.
Maybe look
Mark?
at the 31st of March.
31st or 24th, whatever you guys want to do. Any suggestions?
The 31st of March works for me.
How about you, Tam?
Yep, I'm clear.
31st of March, 9 a.m. then.
Okay.
Excellent.
Perfect. And that'll give us a little more time. I'll send her what we have in terms of the list that we've created and the information we have, and that'll give us a little more time to review those homework items and try to get through some of the conversations particularly about document management on the back end, I think.
Perfect.
I'll send out a
Cool.
calendar invite with the Zoom link, just so that everybody has it in a convenient location.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, guys. Any other items?
Nope.
Anybody like to make the? Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Mark.
just one thing. I haven't taken a look, but Tammy, are you sending the minutes to Meg for posting?
Yes, I did the last ones. I'll send these off. I want to clean up a little bit, but I'll send them off this morning.
Okay, just make sure that they're labeled as draft.
Draft. Okay, I will do that. I have not done that.
We're gonna have to approve them.
Okay, which we did at the beginning of this one, so.
Okay, excellent. So just either send Meg a updated copy that says approved.
Okay,
Or
sure.
if he has access to the document, she can change it, but if it's PDF, then obviously she can't.
Okay.
Very
Excellent.
good. All right, I'll entertain that motion.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Very good.
I'll
Anybody
second
care
it.
to second? I don't think it's
Yeah.
required, but
You don't even need to make a motion under Robert's small board rules. You can just say
perfect.
goodbye.
Hey, everybody have a great weekend and we'll see you on the 31st, if not before.
Great, thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.